Hello, my name is Lindsay Plansky, and welcome to today's webinar, What to Expect at DPS. We want to thank you all for joining us today. This is an AAIDD webinar in coordination with the Disability Policy Seminar partners, the ARC, AUCD, NACDD, SABE, and UCP. The webinar is being recorded and all participants are in listen-only mode. You can send in questions through the chat box on the webinar console throughout the webinar, and we will moderate a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Please note that the recording of the webinar will be available on AAIDD's website tomorrow, and I'll send an email to everyone who registered with more information about how to access that recording. I will now turn it over to Robin Troutman to begin the webinar.
Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar, What to Expect at the Disability Policy Seminar 2019. Many of you will see the acronym DPS, and please remember that that just means Disability Policy Seminar. My name is Robin Troutman, and I am the Deputy Director for the National Association of Councils on Developmental Disabilities, also known as NACDD. Later on in this webinar, you will hear from Liz Weintraub, Senior Advocacy Specialist at the Association of University Centers on Disabilities and host of Tuesdays with Liz. And then after Liz, you will hear from Donna Meltzer, who is the CEO of NACDD. First, I'd like to go over with you what you can expect from this webinar. Next slide. And next slide. That's us. After I go, we will talk about the basics, which is about your hotel, transportation, things like what to wear, accommodations should you need any. Liz will tell you all about the policy seminar, how to prepare, which workshops you should attend, and how to meet people. And then Donna will talk about visiting members of Congress, how to prepare and be your own best advocate. Next slide. So the basics. The first is transportation. How do you get to Washington, D.C. for the Disability Policy Seminar? Well, most of you are probably flying in. Unfortunately, the area airports of Ronald Reagan, Washington National, or Dulles, or even Baltimore, Washington, do not have shuttles that go to the Renaissance Hotel. There are other options. You can take if you're coming into Washington Reagan, you can take the Metro, the yellow line towards Mount Vernon Square, and exit at Gallery Place, Chinatown Metro Station, which the address is 7th and 8th Street. It's about a 9-minute walk from the Metro. You can also take Uber or Lyft and taxis, and it's about $19 one way to get from Reagan National to the Renaissance Hotel. If you're flying into Washington Dulles Airport, also known as IAD, it's a little further. It's about 27.8 miles. So you would have to take a taxi, Lyft, or Uber, and that's going to be about $55 one way. If you're coming from Baltimore, Washington International Airport, that's about 34 miles. Recommended is to take an Amtrak to Union Station, and then get on the Metro on the red line to Metro Center, and then to the hotel. All in all, the fee is about $35. If you're coming into Baltimore Washington Airport and you decide to take a taxi or Uber or Lyft, it's going to be about $65. Once you're in DC, there are, everything is pretty walkable, but there are ways to request a wheelchair accessible taxi in Washington, D.C. Royal Taxi, ROYAL Taxi, has those available. The number is 202-398-0500. There's also Yellow Paratransit. That phone number is 202-544-1213. And just a reminder that the DC Metro is handicap accessible. If you are driving, there is hotel parking. Self-parking rates are $35 per day, and valet parking rates are $53 per day. The hotel. All activities will be at the Renaissance Washington, D.C. Downtown Hotel at 999 9th Street Northwest. This is right near the Washington Convention Center if you need some help with looking at a map. There are accessible accommodations, which you should have made by now. If you still are having trouble with that or need to confirm, please email. Her name is Robin Powers. It's a different Robin. Her email is robin@cmig.com, and she will be able to help with any accommodations that you may need that you may not have gotten confirmation for. The hotel has a fully trained staff, and all seminars will be on the lower level of the hotel, where you can use the escalators or elevators to get to the meeting rooms from the lobby. For food, there is a Sundry convenience store located within the hotel. There are also 3 restaurants in the hotel, all featuring a form of American-style cuisine. Most importantly, there is a Starbucks in the hotel. There are also a lot of local restaurants within half a mile of the hotel. And if you look at the agenda, and I know Liz will talk about this after, not all of the meals are provided, so that those local restaurants located within a half a mile do come in really handy, especially since Chinatown, DC is basically right around the block, and there's a lot of really good restaurants there. What to wear? As you can see from the picture that's on the screen, it's business casual. We want you to be comfortable, but be aware that you are in a hotel, so most likely you will get cold from the air conditioning, so it is highly recommended to wear layers. You can see from most of the women in that slide, they are wearing a sweater over a shirt. It is highly recommended that you do that because it does get very cold and we do tend to keep the rooms a little colder just with the sheer volume of people. We do recommend comfortable shoes. The hotel, while everything is on one floor, you do have to walk from room to room. No shorts or jeans when you go to Capitol Hill is highly recommended, but we want you to be comfortable. And then just a reminder that staff from all of the partner organizations and the hotel are available to help. You will see that when you are walking in the main hallway, that all of the partner organizations will have tables set up, and anyone will be happy to answer any questions you may have, as well as those behind the registration table. Now I'd like to turn it over to Liz to talk about the policy seminar. Next slide, and thank you.
Thank you, Robin. The Disability Policy Seminar is broken up into 2 events. One is the conference, which is Sunday through Thursday. Sunday mostly is I know AUCD has for those of you who are part of the AUCD network, there's a training network session. If someone would like to be part of that, to go to the training network session, and who isn't a part of the AUCD network, there is a way to register for that seminar, and it's on our website. I say our because I work for AUCD, so you can, but it does cost money for non-members of AUCD network. And then there's a reception on that night, and then Monday and Tuesday are different sessions at the conference where you'll learn about different issues related to policy, and so we hope that you'll take advantage of the sessions. And then on Wednesday, the Hill visits, where Donna will talk a little bit about the Hill visits and how to prepare for them. And I should say that the conference on Sunday through Tuesday is at the hotel, and Wednesday is at the on Capitol Hill. And the Capitol Hill is very close to the hotel. You can take the red line to the Senate side, and then if you're on the House side, you can either take the red line to Union Station and then walk to Union over to the House side, where the Senate side is on the red line, but on the House side, you can either take and it's probably a 10-15 minute, maybe a half an hour walk from Union Station, or you can take the red line to the Metro Center, and then switch a Metro Center to the orange line to South Capitol South, and it's a block and a half to the Capitol buildings. The House buildings. Or of course you can take a Uber, Lyft, or a cab onto Capitol Hill. Then I'll talk about the conference, and Donna will talk about the Hill visits. So the next slide. The seminar, Disability Policy Seminar, should be fun, so please do not be nervous or scared. I know that's easier to say than do it. I've been a first-time attendee, and I knew that I was very nervous when I first came to the seminar. But please do not be nervous. And it's really a fun conference, and it should not be stressful. That's why we're here. Please use us for questions, or this webinar is a useful thing. One of my favorite saying is nothing about us without us. So I really think that there's nothing about us, or our siblings, or anyone related to disability, that we should not be involved with the discussions. So the next slide. Planning ahead makes DPS not less stressful. So that's why you're all here today, and that's great. We're all here to learn from the experts, and now we can be our okay. I got lost. I'm sorry. You might planning ahead makes DPS less stressful, and your plans doesn't need to be perfect. If you decide one way today or even next week, and then when you get to the on the plane you decide that you don't like that plan, or on Tuesday you decide to do a different plan Tuesday at the conference, that's perfectly fine. So it's up to you, and you can change your mind as long as you're here. There are two things that you can do before you come, and we recommend you doing this. There's a fact sheet. There are fact sheets on the website, and please use them. And the website is called, the address is https://disabilityseminar.org, and you can find who your member of Congress is by entering your address at the website, which is whoismyrepresentative.com. And also there's another, the other resource I would recommend is looking at Tuesdays with Liz, which I'm the host of. This coming Tuesday, there'll be a video about how to do a Hill visit. And there's all kinds of Tuesdays with Liz if you go to the AUCD.org website and go to the policy section of the website, and then there'll be a drop down with the tab called Tuesdays with Liz. So that's another resource. The next slide. The conference website also have a list of events that you can look ahead of time, and there are on 3 different type of events: on general sessions, breakout sessions, which is also called workshops. And I know lots of people don't like the word workshops. That's why the word is breakout sessions. And then there's networking opportunity like the reception. Or I find that dinners are a great way to just network with people. Just grab people and say, can I come? Can we have dinner or a meal together? That's great. I know there's a breakfast for siblings and a breakfast for self-advocates on Tuesdays. So those are both great opportunities. What are the general sessions? One session is about the Olmsted, which is 20 years later. It's hard to imagine that Olmsted has been around for 20 years. We have so much work to be done, but we have came so far sometimes. Anyway, the next session in long-term services and support, and then another session is Better Together, Disability Rights are Human Rights. And everyone is invited to these general sessions that have important experts speaking about interest topics. This year we'll have three general sessions. that we all care about, and I just listed them. Usually there are times after the speech or panel for the audience to ask questions. And a tip is, if you know you have a question on the topic, ask a staff member for the general session if they can bring the microphone to you during the session. Next slide. I think there's 12 sessions, 12 breakout sessions. One is basic advocacy track, how to have a successful Hill visit, and relationships, building, and basic of Medicaid and Social Security. And then the fourth is Regulation 101, led by me and my coworker Rylan Rogers. And these are sessions that are smaller sessions, so you'll have more time to ask questions. And the basic advocacy track is this year's designed for people attending DPS for the first time, and you can tell if there's a basic track session because it will say it in the schedule. Although I should say that the basic track isn't required, you don't need to take you don't have to go to a basic self-advocacy track if you don't want to. Feel free to go wherever you want to go, but we're just suggesting that to be a good opportunity. The next slide. And there's networking sessions. Sunday, I talk about the policy forum at the AUCD, that it's only for LEND trainees, although if you do want to go into the LEND trainee session, there's a way to do that on sign up on our website. For the NACDD, there's a panel or a forum, I guess, which is called the Crisis of Caregiving, and that's open to the public. And then there's a ARC session that is only invitation only. And then on Monday, there's a networking breakfast at 9 a.m. and lunch and dinner is on your own. And as Robin said, there are restaurants around the hotel. My favorite restaurant is I'm just blanking. Matchbox. That's my favorite. Very short distance. Tuesday is a sibling breakfast and a self-advocate breakfast, and they're both at 8 a.m. And then there's a general breakfast for everyone at 8 a.m. and they're all networking breakfasts. So feel free to go to those. And then at 12:30 there's a lunch. This is all Tuesday. There's a lunch at on 12:30 that we ask or we suggest that you all gather with your states to talk about your Hill visits. And then on Tuesday night, dinner is on your own again. And then Wednesday's Hill visits, which I must say, I find that Hill visit is the highlight of the week. You get to advocate to members of Congress. And you learn from each other. Why is networking important for advocacy? Well, you learn from each other, share stories, and build friendship and allies to help you. I know that for me, the first time I came here, I met so many people. So we're very excited that you're coming. And please use the networking as an opportunity to network, or the lunch is for state caucus. Please use that as a time to get ready for the Hill visit, and maybe Donna will elaborate on that as well. Some tips: go for networking. Go to as many events as possible. If you have business cards, or you can make them. I know that you can go to like Staples and make your own networking, your own business cards. It's fun. And then click business cards and contact information. I have a book full of business cards, and I'm always, it's exciting. And the bottom line is, have fun at this conference. It should be a great, great time. On the next slide, before I turn it over to Donna, I want to say this seminar is for you. What you get out of it is what you put into it. So please, this is for you to learn, and ask questions, take pictures, be on social media, DPS 2019, be active in the learning, and as I said again, have fun, and we're excited to see you. So now I'll turn it over to Donna.
Thank you, Liz. And I want to say that I agree completely with Liz that the highlight of this whole thing is your day on Capitol Hill. It's really exciting, and if it's something brand new to you, you're just going to love it because you get to go spend the day on the Hill, meet with maybe members of Congress, certainly with staff who work for the members of Congress, and you get to see the beautiful Capitol in the springtime with flowers blooming and just feel the energy and the power of being there and that ability to use your own voice and to share your messaging. So if you look at the picture that is on this slide, you'll see just a sample of a meeting. You might see some people who you know, but this is very common that people are there in groups. You will be in groups, you will meet with staff. Sometimes you'll get to see the member, him or herself, but we do want to encourage you to get photographs like this. So always ask the staff person or the member if he or she is there, if it's okay to grab a photo that you can have as a keepsake afterwards. Next slide, please. So there's some things that you really do want to know and think about before you go. And I do want to mention, as Liz said, during the DPS, there will be a session on how to have a successful Hill visit. So if you feel that after this webinar today, there's still more that you want to practice and learn about before you actually go to the Hill, I do recommend that you go to that session. But some things that you need to know before you go is, who are you going to be going on these visits with? And how do you plan for that successful visit? Because it does take some planning. Liz mentioned that there are fact sheets on the issues that you might want to talk about while you're on the Hill visits. Those are available on the DPS website, as she said. But at this point, you probably know or have gotten a reach out from somebody who is coordinating the visits, assuming that you are from a state where there are other people who are attending. Somebody is probably taking the lead and making sure that those appointments are set with the offices that you are going to go visit. So you will get a list and you will know which offices you are going to go to. And then hopefully somebody's going to coordinate either a call in advance of those meetings, or certainly once you're at the hotel, there will be some time for groups to get together by state and talk about how you want to approach your visit. Somebody will volunteer and say, hey, I'll take the lead. I'm going to, make the opening statement when we get to the senator or congressperson's office. Make sure that we all introduce ourselves, and then we'll all take our turns talking about what's going to happen on this visit. And then that same lead person may close out the meeting and say the thank you before everybody leaves. One of the things that's really important to prepare for and to practice is, who's going to take that lead, making sure that everybody has a role, and that you connect in advance with each other. And then again, as I said, at the hotel. So if you haven't gotten a reach out yet to know who's in your state and who's coordinating, ask around either with your people from your UCED or your DD Council or ARC or whoever's kind of your lead organization, so that we can help you get that figured out and know who's taking the lead in your state. The next slide, please. So here's some tips and tricks for being on your visits once you get to the Hill. It's a crazy busy time. The springtime, late March, early April, everybody's up on the Hill. So we're not going to be the only large group. So it's really important that you remember to be flexible. What do I mean by flexible? Well, what I mean is that sometimes you walk into a member's office and it's going to be very crowded. It can feel hectic and crazy. Again, that's where your preparation comes in. One person from your group should approach the person sitting at the front desk and say, hi, I am so-and-so. I'm here with this group. We have an appointment with so-and-so at whatever time. And then they will help get you, take your business card if you have one, or certainly to let that staff person know that the group is there and ready for the meeting. It's also important to be flexible because sometimes, as I said, it gets very crowded, and that little front office space, some of those offices on Capitol Hill are really tiny. Others are bigger and have more space for people who are waiting for their meeting. So don't be surprised if you need to wait in the hallway. Don't be surprised if your entire meeting takes place standing up in a hallway. It's okay. Sometimes the meeting spaces, those conference rooms that the members have to meet and get full. As I said, it's important just to be flexible and go with the flow. I've even been on visits sometimes where the member of Congress will say, hey, I'd like to meet with you guys for a little bit, but you know what? I'm on my way to the floor. I have to go vote. Can you walk with me or roll with me? Well, I say roll with that. If a member of Congress wants your attention and wants to talk with you, but you've got to do it while walking somewhere else, absolutely say yes and go for it. Also be flexible, because sometimes the member of Congress will have just a couple of minutes to come in and talk to you, but might not stay for the whole meeting, but the staff person will. And then even the staff person sometimes might get called into another meeting. So kind of try to read their body language and see, do they have enough time to keep asking questions and hear from everyone? Or do you see that they kind of need to move on with their day, in which case you might want to wrap up your thoughts and close out your meeting based on what their time frame looks like. Again, it's always important to be very polite. People are very professional on Capitol Hill, and it is a place of business. So you want to be polite to everybody you meet. Again, it can sometimes get crowded and hectic, and sometimes you might get agitated, or maybe you're hungry because it's really lunchtime and your meetings are running late, but try your best to be as polite as you can, because you want your meeting to go well. Try your best to be on time for your meetings. These staff people are very busy, and they have one meeting after the next, so it's important to be on time. One person in your group might want to be the timekeeper. That's actually a really important assignment. Somebody who keeps their eye on how long are we in here in this meeting, what time is our next meeting. It's even okay if somebody needs to step out and call ahead to your next appointment to say we're running late. Or split your group. If you have a lot of people in your group, some might want to stay in one appointment and others might want to begin walking ahead to the next one if you find that you're running very late. And if you do go into your next meeting and you're late, just start out by apologizing. They understand, because it happens to everybody. But again, you just really want that politeness factor. The next tip is that everybody should have a role for the meeting, and that's something that, you want to prepare for in advance. Think ahead of time about what it is that you want to convey. You have an opportunity to have a couple of minutes to talk. Do you want to talk about your council or your AUCD or something that you're working on? Or is it your personal story that you want to share? Is there a particular issue area that you want to talk about because it's most important to you? You'll see from the fact sheets that there's a variety of issues that can and should be talked about in meetings, but there might not be time to talk about all of them. So plan in advance and know which thing you really want to talk about. As I said, it's fine to take pictures and share them at #DPS2019, but if you're taking a picture with a staff person or with the member of Congress, just make sure, ask if that's okay, if they're willing to take a picture, or sometimes they'd like to be in the picture with you, and so they'll call in maybe the assistant from the front desk or something to come in and take the picture, because it's really nice when you can get a picture like that one that we all looked at together a moment ago about, standing out in the hallway in front of the flag with the name on the door of the member of Congress. And it's really great to share those pictures afterwards, put them on social media if the member of Congress's office says that that's okay. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a real keepsake that you can print out that picture afterwards and put it in a frame and keep it on your desk. And again, just be flexible. Don't assume anything. Sometimes meetings don't go as planned, but you'll go with the flow and make the best of it. So practice, 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 and have those conversations ahead of time. I think that's the most important thing. And then, the meeting will end, but it's not really over, because what you do want to do afterwards is follow up with a thank you note. When you go to Capitol Hill, I like to look at it as it's just the beginning. It's the beginning of a relationship with that member's office. It's not a one and done. So once you get back home, sending a nice thank you note, it can be in an email, it can be handwritten, whatever works for you. But do take that time to follow up personally with the staff person that you met with. And you can get, before you leave the member's office, they have business cards at the front desk. So grab a card for the person that you met with, or ask the person at the front desk for one, so that you have their exact email address and know how to spell their name, because you'll forget after a whole day of being on visits. So take those cards, collect them, keep them in your wallet or someplace safe. But once you're back home, you can send that thank you note. And sometimes also, if the meeting ran short, or you just didn't have enough time to say all the things that you wanted to say, or there was something, maybe the staff person asked you a question and you didn't have all of the answers, you can put all of that information into a follow-up afterwards. So that thank you is a way to follow up. Again, it's about being polite, but it's also about opening a continuing dialogue with that person. And each time something happens back home that you would like that member of Congress to know about, or that staff person to know about, you have that email, you have that contact, and you can follow up with that. Next slide, please. So that, I think, brings us to the end, but all of us are here to answer any questions that you have.
Great, and really thank you so much to all of our presenters today. You've shared so much information, and I imagine for our first time attendees on the line today, I'm sure they're going away with so much more information, and they're going to feel so much more comfortable going into their first DPS. So really thank you all for taking the time to present today and share all of your great information. So as Donna said, we are opening up the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to send them in through the chat box. We have plenty of time to answer some questions, so do not hesitate. And we do have our first question already regarding the invitation-only session on Sunday. Can someone talk a little bit more about that and maybe what that invitation-only means?
Sure. This Liz, Liz Weintraub, and I was thinking that you might want to call the ARC, because it's their event, and you might want to ask them what it means when they mean invitation only. But what I think it would mean is that it's not open to the public. It's open to people that get the invitation. And I don't know anything about the event, but maybe someone from ARC would have more information than I do. Donna or Robin, would you agree?
I would agree, Liz. I don't know anything about the ARC's event. I can only make that same assumption, Liz, that it is for members of the ARC who are going to be there for DPS. And Liz is right. If you want more information about that, you're welcome to call the ARC. I think, for those pre-DPS events, as Liz had mentioned earlier, there is an event that is specifically for LEND trainees. Those people know who they are, and we'll go to that session, NADD's session on caregiving. While it's primarily there for members of the NACDD network, it is a topic that is important to many people, and if that is something that you wish to attend, we welcome you to be there.
And I know for the AUCD training networking session, although it is for LEND trainees, and you know who you are, as Donna said, and former trainees as well, but there is a way to register if for a price through our website, and the website is AUCD.org.
Thank you. So the next question I want to ask is, there was so much information shared today and so much great information. For our first time attendees coming to the conference, it's a huge conference. There's so much information being shared at the conference. If you could narrow it down to one or two really important tips that you want the attendees to go into the meeting with, what would those be?
You want me to start?
Sure, Liz.
My recommendation is, and I know this is really hard to say, I mean to do. It's easier for me to say it rather than doing it, but be not nervous. This is a fun seminar. This is a gift. When I say a gift, I really mean it's a chance to say, okay, I'm learning about policy. I'm assuming everyone is registered. The reason why you're registered is because you're interested in policy and how to make policy change for our community and for our nation, and you're interested. I'm assuming that's why you have registered for the Disability Policy Seminar, and look at it as a fun opportunity to learn. And please don't be scared, because I was a first attendee. I'm sure that Donna was a first time attendee sometime. I'm sure Robin was as well. And that's how we all learn. And then my other recommendation is maybe to just within the next week or so, you could look on the website. Look on the internet about how to advocate on Capitol Hill. Look at Tuesdays with Liz. Look at there's all kinds of webs. I know there's a wonderful video called Schoolhouse Rock. You can look at that and do your homework. You really need to do your homework before coming to DPS. And then my other recommendation is take a break. And what I mean by that is don't just go out in the hall and take a break for 10 minutes or whatever, but actually go out to the hotel. Springtime, you're coming to a DC, and one of my favorite times of the year, springtime is my favorite time. One of my favorite times. And the cherry blossom, I'm not sure whether they're still open. They're going to still be around. I think they will be. And the Tidal Basin is not that far from our hotel. So please take advantage of the city.
Great. And we have another question. Because of the nature of breakout sessions don't allow for participants to attend all of them, will information be available afterwards from the breakout session?
This is Liz again, and I think there will be, they'll be on the website, on the DPS website.
This is Donna, and I agree with Liz. And something else that I would recommend is that if you are part of a larger group from your state, work together to maybe make assignments and say, I'll go to one breakout, somebody else goes to the other one at that time, and if there's a third person, go to the third, and then you can all trade information afterwards as well. So that way, everybody kind of learns what was covered at those sessions, but each of you should try to pick, whatever is most important to you, whether it's because it impacts your particular life or your work that you do. So, pick what really speaks to you. As Liz said, this is a gift. It's a great opportunity to learn so much. It can be overwhelming. So again, Liz gave great advice. Take breaks. We do have quiet rooms that are available, or get outside if the weather is nice and take a little walk, clear your head. It is a lot that you're taking in. So don't feel that you have to be at every single session, because it can get a little overwhelming. But there will be follow-up information that you can have and you can share with each other, so that everybody gets the full impact of all of the learning. And as Liz said, have fun. That's really why you're here. Have a great time. Enjoy all of this.
And this is Robin, and I guess my little piece of advice is just ask questions. Don't be afraid to pull anyone aside. They give out, I think there's ribbons or something that says it's your first time. So find someone that doesn't have that notification and just ask them a question. Ask any of the people that at the registration table, or anyone that has a staff. Everyone at NACDD will have their NACDD pins on. A lot of us will be sitting at tables, but if you're lost, if you don't know what to do, if you're not sure what's for breakfast or lunch, or if you need someone to go to Starbucks with you, find me, find Donna, find Erin, Lindsay. We're all happy to answer any questions, because as Liz said, we've all been first timers before. So we know what you're going through, and we're happy to help. So please don't hesitate to find anyone and just ask them a question.
Perfect. And I think we have time for one more question. And that question is there somewhere that attendees can see a list of who registered for DPS within their state?
This is Robin. I don't know if that is public. I don't know if they post that anywhere. I don't know. I would be happy if anyone would like to contact me, and we can send out my email and I can help you figure out who else from your state is there, but I don't know if they post that on the website.
Great.
I don't know if anybody does know that.
And I'm assuming if there's anyone from the AUCD network, you could contact either myself or Rylan Rogers, and we'll be glad to help you.
All right. Well, I do think that's all the time we have for questions this afternoon. If anyone also has any additional information, any additional questions, in the slide that's up right now, please feel free to email that email address as well. And there should be a person that will be able to respond to you. So with that, I really just want to thank everyone once again, our presenters, our attendees for attending today and for asking such great questions. I hope everyone is feeling more comfortable and more prepared going into the meeting in just a few short weeks. So thank you everyone again for joining us. And don't forget the seminar is on from April 8th and April 10th in DC. And with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. And I will email everyone with the link to the recording of this webinar tomorrow. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.